are you feeling, Josh, as we kick off what is historically a pretty weak month for stocks with the Nasdaq and a new record?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's it's late August. My screens and everything that I look at, like what I'm basically seeing is a little bit of what you talked about, that defensive trade. But then there are a lot of things that are incongruous and wouldn't seem to go together. But I think I have the big picture sort of figured out here just from talking to people. So you start off looking at something like Tesla. Looks great again. 22% below its record high, but it looks like it wants to get back toward that territory. That helps ARK. And what's good for the ARK ETF is good for a whole contingent of stocks that have kind of been ignored for a few months now. And so ARK is looking good, starting to get back toward those lower highs. Tech is pretty much still on fire. Facebook all-time high today. Amazon's on a hilarious run. It looked like absolute trash after their earnings, already 10% off those recent lows. And then, Sarah, you have something like the IPO ETF start to break out. Why is the IPO ETF breaking out at the same time as the IYR real estate trust? Sometimes things that have no relationship to each other whatsoever just happen to be moving in the same direction. There's not always a great story to tell. China Tech is rebounding. K-Web is up almost 5% on the day. Nobody's talking about it. That was a big area of consternation as recently as, 2 days ago. The only stocks that really seem to be taking a breather are the cyclicals. You got the Russell 2000 at the highest level since July. And I think the big picture, why all of that is occurring at once, not that these things are related to each other that I just listed, but this is the big thing. We're going to get the kids back to school in the next couple of weeks nationwide, and the unemployment benefits are now, the federal unemployment benefits have now sunsetted. You're going to see surges again in hiring because people just need to be hired and people need to hire. I think those misses in the economic data were mostly chalked up to renewed fears about COVID with the Delta stuff. That's going to work itself out one way or the other, and there's nothing we can really do about that. But I really feel like we're going to get through that hiccup in the economic data, be back off to the races again this fall as people are able to leave their house, go back to work. I think that data will turn up, the surprise index, et cetera. And in the meanwhile, stocks have gotten cheaper this year. Yeah, not great. And consumer confidence, but what everybody is saying is the same thing, which is that worried about Delta and having trouble finding workers. I think those things are going to work themselves out, and stocks have actually gotten cheaper over the first 8 months of this year. The multiple is down 2 points since January. So I think people come back in and buy them again, and I think you're seeing that being sniffed out this week with 6 out of 8 days up in the last 2 weeks.